Hey, what's up, world? Welcome back to another edition of the Cigars and Bullshit podcast. Yours truly, DJ Bentley. I'm joined with Steve and Frankie, where we're going to talk about another interesting topic this week. It's about cigars, and it's about the bullshit. Let's get into it.
So I'm done with this.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done.
This is good. This is really good. I Macanudos don't fail me.
Listen, I gave out Macanudos from when the baby was born.
I still have.
Macanudos are fantastic. When people come over, I usually have a Macanudo or a Cuba sitting in my humidor.
Yeah.
Just to give out to someone. A friend of mine, he's not a cigar smoker, but he's like, I really want to try one. So I gave him a Cuba. He loved it. He was like, this is awesome. He keeps texting me, what's the name of that thing? What's the name of it? I tell him. And he came on, he's like, all right, so we went back to the lounge, we went back to the store. He's like, all right, I want something different, but I want something flavored now. And I'm trying to steer him away from it because I feel like, he would enjoy it more. But the flavors are definitely something, I think, if you're not a cigar smoker, I think that's something that you could get into easily because...
That's something that pulls people in.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean... So in the club world, I had experience where you go get a drink and it would be like, oh, what do you want? This drink, maybe the name of the drink, but it would be the elements of it would all be like the simple either vodka, maybe it'd be a different brand of vodka, or a whiskey, or cognac or whatever. Then they came out with flavored
vodkas, yeah.
And I think that basically destroyed. It's kind of similar with the cigar thing. It kind of like now you're getting like whatever tangerine vodka. You get this, that, the other. It's not the traditional drink and the flavor of the drink that you have now. Now you got all of these flavors that you're not necessarily enjoying what it is. That's how I kind of related to the cigar.
It's like what we brought up in the beginning. It was Steve said it's not just the atmosphere; it's what you're having maybe with the cigar.
Right.
So you could be having that whiskey with, a Java or something.
Wait, maybe I'm missing the point of what you're trying to get to. You're making a comparison, or you're saying having that with a cigar?
No, I'm saying a comparison with a flavored cigar versus
like
the purest thing again versus because
I think.
Not that they ruin vodka by flavoring it, but a traditional vodka drink that you make with like an unflavored vodka. Now there's so many different vodkas. Yeah. Blackberry vodka, strawberry vodka, tangerine vodka. Like you're not gonna order your drink
marshmallow. This one is always
vodka.
All those other flavors, yeah.
And so I look at it the same way with the cigars. It's like, okay. How many what?
Yeah.
You're gonna smoke a cigar, but you're gonna have like a pumpernickel cigar. Like, what the hell are you eating? Right.
I got this new cigar. It's Cheeto.
Cheeto flavored cigar. Your hands turn
Carvel Sunday.
Listen, you're joking about it, but they probably will come out.
So it's gonna be like, have one before.
I got this cigar. It's birthday cake flavor.
Birthday cake cigar.
Confetti.
Confetti cigar.
Look at all the dots in it.
So that's
to touch on your point. I've actually had this conversation, but we could do it as part of the podcast. Is if you go back to when we were younger men, way back before your time.
I don't care.
No. I'm gonna go to like when we were like 20, and you're going to the clubs at a young age, and when you would go to a club, you would get whatever they were making, whether it was melon balls or
it was more like a
Red Devils, and it was all shitty liquor covered in juices and soda.
Right, exactly.
So you had this punch, basically. You got wasted off of it. It made you sick. You got headaches, hangovers. And what I've learned...
But you weren't drinking it for the taste anyway. You were just drinking it to get slammed.
You were trying to get dance floor... No, to get your balls to go dance with a girl, But what I've learned on a serious note is that really good liquor doesn't need anything to mask how shitty it is. Yeah. So I find myself at a later age drinking 90% of my liquors without, and I'm not a heavy drinker for the record.
No, the same way.
With nothing, it's either whether I want an ice cube or not, whether I want it, on the rocks or neat, or if I'm having a bourbon or a rum or a tequila, 9 times out of 10, I'm not having anything else in that glass, and I'll pour myself an ounce or two, and that's it. And I have that with this, and I figure out what I like that complements something else. And it could be something as simple as like, I'm having a good cup of coffee with some sort of a Java latte or
nice.
Java mint
That'd be nice.
or a tobacco special that has a little flavor or a coffee hint to it or something sweet. I might turn around and have, a Davidoff with a whiskey, but it's going to be a good one.
Right.
It's not going to be like, I don't want those sugary, shitty drinks that's going to mess my stomach up, give me a headache. I didn't know that till I became of a little more age and had more experience with having.
Well, and that's I transferred that
that's
into the cigar.
What you're talking about with cigars, right?
Like I'll look for a cigar, but I'm not looking necessarily for like a
to hide it.
vanilla or whatever
Yeah,
type of cigar. I want that's
Just a hint of it.
Yeah,
Just to kind of like bring out some flavor, and then
and then
cigar.
you get
get
to experience the cigar, and so yeah, that's my take on flavored cigars.
Let's talk about humidors. You transitioned from a regular standard wooden box humidor.
Yeah,
so like a dive case or something.
What was so I got a humidor as a gift years ago, a birthday gift. I got a humidor. It was nice, and I experimented with trying to keep the humidity right and all of that, learning that whole thing and how to keep it the cigars. And then when they came out with the Boveda packs, then I was like, okay, this is great.
It's easier, right?
It's easier, right? So then I could just maintain the temperature. And then it was your nephew. He came down. So he rescued these bunch of cigars. The whole backstory I don't even need to go into.
I think that guy couldn't smoke anymore.
Right, so
he bought his whole collection.
He bought his whole collection. So anyway, he comes down.
Struck a good deal.
And I happened to just go over, right, to Steve's house. And he's like, I'm like, what's that? He's like, oh, you came at a good time. Here. So he gave me a bunch of cigars that he kind of, but he had them in it wasn't like a gun case.
No, it was like a tactical case that he got. It was a
tactical. So it was this tactical case, but it was airtight sealed, right?
He had a pack of them?
And he kept them in a Boveda pack, but he was just using that to transport them down, right? So I'm standing there and I'm looking, I'm like, Steve and I, another thing that we share, we like Invicta watches, right? We like
watches in general.
We like watches in general. Well, Invicta is a brand that we like. I had a bunch and found out he has a bunch.
No, it's a good brand.
So I'm like, oh, cool.
It's like
the Timex. Remember Timex watches?
No, it's not.
Remember Timex?
They're made very well. They're made
very
well. I know Timex. No, I know Timex.
Yeah. So, I think the Invicta is like the current Timex, just a little better, right? But anyway, they got nice watches. So anyway, I'm looking at this tactical case he has, and I'm like, that looks like my Invicta watch case. I'm like, wait a minute. I go and they sell their watches in the dive cases. I'm like, holy crap! I transitioned my cigars. I put a few in there to try it, and at first,
you pulled all the foam out.
I pulled all the foam out, and
it's an airtight case.
It's an airtight case.
Yeah, it's got the gussets around it, so
waterproof and everything. Yeah.
Put the Boveda pack in there with the cigars, and the problem I had was it was holding it so much that the numbers were like in the 80s. I'm like, holy crap! But this thing, I'm like, but this. So then I because they have a little seal that you can take out.
Oh, okay.
So I learned to use that, and then I got my Boveda down, the packs down to not. I don't use I use the.
You weren't using the 72s. You were using like 69.
60. Yeah, and then I got it. I managed it perfect. Now my cigars are really nice, and I bought the the tester, and so now I transitioned
That's
that
awesome.
to my humidor, which is a really weird, humidor. So when you walk in, you look like, oh, that's a watch case. No, you open it, and I got like almost
Dude, I like
closet
that.
in. It's like
When you brought that thing to the cigar, I was like, yeah, that thing's awesome. That thing is awesome.
freaking Invicta watch case.
So the other thing you just touched upon is the device. I'm trying to think what it's called.
Oh, that
Tester?
tester is
Poker or something.
No,
it's a particular thing.
no. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's
the actual.
it
name
checks
of
the humidity. It's
Yeah.
something. I feel like it's with an M. Like
Yeah, I forget the name of it, but
humidimeter.
humidimeter. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
humidimeter.
It's funny because I'm like, Steve, next time I go to the lounge, I want to bring my. And he's like, nah.
Start
You're
testing
gonna be poking all these cigars. And I was like,
I want to hold it.
I mean, I'm like-
been here.
but
Yeah,
if you-
yeah.
Look at these beetle
But if
holes
you-
in the front of every
if you
cigar.
check the foot though, nobody's gonna know.
Yeah, I just think that they would not be
But-
happy if you start
yeah,
stabbing all their cigars.
If they saw
I
me,
know the opus
if
is
they
like,
saw me like,
oh my
boom,
God.
nah, I don't want that one, put it back. Nah, I don't want that. They go, where the hell are you from? Coming in here with that, but
that's a great tool.
that tool is
Because
amazing.
if you ever have any sort of like inconsistency in your humidifier, and we've all experienced that because I've gone through. My first purchase was a cheap 50 count box, and it looked nice. It was wrapped in leather, and it was beautiful black humidor, but it leaked like crazy. So then I was on to educating myself on what's the problem with this and how to maintain it better. And I went through getting food grade silicone,
But
making sure my seals were right.
I did my box, the first box that I got, the one I was talking about. I redid
You did the same
that.
thing?
I did the same thing. I got the food grade silicone, sealed it all up, and it really it's good.
Makes a difference.
It's good. Yeah. Definitely.
He actually educated me on that as well.
I did that for that box. Then I had my nephew
You did
grow out of his humidor, and my two nephews had the same humidor. It was like 100 count, beautiful like
Wooden box.
wooden box, and I think one of them bought it for the other as a gift or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but one of them basically, I think it was Henry, grew out of his and said, "You could have mine." And then, so I had a 50 count and a 100 count. What I did is I put anything that might have been like flavored or sweetened tip, anything that might have. I didn't want them to taint each other,
Yeah,
so
you
I
don't
put all
wanna-
my flavored in just a
One
50
thing,
count box, and I
Yeah.
started
That's a
putting
great
all
idea.
my straight cigars in
Yeah.
the other to keep them separated. And then I started experiencing the same problem with that one, is that I couldn't keep the levels consistent.
Yeah.
I would change packs, add packs, and it was supposed to be one Boveda pack per 25 cigars, capacity, not what you have stocked. And I was putting 2, 3, 4, and I was like, this is getting crazy. So I did the same thing with the silicone and got that to a place where it wouldn't leak too much. And then I think after that was when I started to really buy heavily, and I was down that rabbit hole at this point, and I started having Ziplocs all over the house, and the wife was like, "What is this? You got boxes now you're getting? There's Ziplocs everywhere," and that's when I finally decided to chuck it up and get a really big humidor.
Tower.
And,
I remember going to Steve's house. Like, hey, y'all, what are you smoking today? He's like, I don't know. Let me see. He opens up the drawer. Literally Ziplocs down to the top to the bottom. I'm like, holy crap. Like, Steve, I knew you had a big collection, but I know it was like this. He's like, don't worry. It's all separated. He starts taking them all out one by one.
It's
All right, I'm going to get one from here. And then starts putting it back. I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy.
But
It worked. It worked. It worked.
That actually is good for you because you smoke more frequently than me. So for me, I don't need a giant humidor because I don't that frequent.
You're a once or twice a month.
Yeah, so a smaller
That's how I started
humidor,
off. Same exact as you.
and this Invicta box works perfect now. So now I got I'm set. You know what I mean? What about you? Have
Believe it or not,
He
You
wound
wanna
up
go into
actually
it?
being a beneficiary of my other nephew growing out of his box.
I got a
Okay.
hand-me-down, but I love it. I absolutely love it.
He got the same
Best
thing.
gift
He
I ever
got
got.
another 100 count box.
Okay.
Frank gave it to him, and yeah.
No, it was. It's definitely. I didn't realize. I started off with you with a little box. It was like a little travel case. It was. I put a Boveda pack in there, and that was it. And then Steve. Like I said, Steve educated me a lot. He was like, hey, you should keep it like this at this temperature and this humidity and this that. And then he's like, you know what, dude? And I started getting cigars from his nephews. I started buying cigars. We went to the.
Everybody's very generous in the group.
Yeah. So we started trading off, and then all of a sudden I had this huge, large collection, and Steve's like, "Nah, this is not going to work for you." He's like, I was like, all right. So I started shopping for one, and all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, my nephew's upgrading himself. Would you consider his?" I said, "Absolutely." And
I know he has plenty of room.
Now I have plenty of room.
Because for him, he ain't gonna fill.
It's probably almost not even the half. It's probably like right there, like a quarter of it full. But it does make a difference because, like I said, I brought that cigar. It's been sitting in there for almost 2 years, and I have the wrappers all look like amber color. They're amazing. Every time I take one out from there, I enjoy it
because he's not burning them so fast.
No,
he's
not.
Right, and he's enjoying them as they get
It's literally by accident. I'm not doing it on purpose at all, but I have to tell you, it's a great experience, and I'm really like what I usually do is when I buy cigars, I'll buy two. Steve kind of got that idea from him where I'll buy two. I'll put one in the humidor, smoke one right away. But I can't really compare it because I don't smoke it back to back. Like I won't remember, but I could tell the difference from smoking.
But you do know what you like in your cigar.
Yeah.
I remember, like for instance, the Cigar to Fire. You're going to enjoy that stick, whether it's in your humidor brand new or a year
that's
later.
probably a good reference. That's probably what I could probably age and then see what it tastes like because I'm always having one.
Yeah.
Once a month at least I have one. But
you talk about the expense of the habit, the downfall for me, but it's also a benefit because there's a reciprocation. Is with my two nephews. If I see something rare or hard to find, or even just a good cigar that I get my hands on, he knows we go to the shops and I'm like, I need 3 of these. I need 3 of those.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm always going to pick up one for each of my nephews. But in turn, they have given me tons of cigars in the same way. They do the same thing. My nephew gets one for his brother and gets one for Uncle Steve, and we're all constantly, the 3 of us, giving each other cigars.
That's awesome.
And some of the sticks I've gotten have been amazing. Like, there's some sticks that are just out of my range and I haven't had yet. Like, and I say that, meanwhile, I've spent thousands on cigars, and I'm like, I haven't had a Royal Release yet because that's too expensive. And I'm like,
limited edition Opus box.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, okay. That's out of your range. I'm like, I don't know. For some reason, I don't want to spend $120 on something right out the gate. But then it's like, if I buy, them online, I can get them cheaper, and I can get a box of 10. But it's like, I don't want to spend that much money on a box of expensive cigars. I want to try one, but then I get with my nephews, and they have we have occasions they both just had babies. God bless them, and it's like they have a baby and they want to bust out a great cigar. So Henry brings this cigar that I don't even remember what it was. I feel like it was a really rare Opus, and he said, no bullshit. This stick doesn't retail for this. But good luck finding it for under $100 or 140 or something when it goes for. So here I'm enjoying this phenomenal cigar, not just because of the cost. Opus X are great sticks, but I wasn't expecting. I probably wouldn't walk in a shop and pick that up and say, I'm going to take this because I could get 3 good sticks at least for that price.
Right.
So in my head, I'm like, that's too much. But then you look at my humidor and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? You got thousands of dollars of cigars here. How have you not had a... I'm like, I don't want tens of thousands.
Right. Yeah.
It's just not... No. This... Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I guess that speaks to what we're talking about it speaks to your smoking habits. There's no way I would have hundreds of cigars in my house because they would stay there forever. I'd never smoke through hundreds of cigars.
I'm getting them as gifts, and I'm scared to smoke them because I don't know where I'm going to get them again. It's not.
It's like
I don't have that problem.
You have more bigger problems.
I don't have that problem. My problem is we'll call it a problem, but it's just a funny advantage to what I have is I have a large collection, but I also have purposely I have some. I don't want to call them cheapies, but I started off like that. Like I'd buy a box of just something simple, like I don't even want to insult it because it's a good stick. What is the classic Macanudo Inspirado? That classic Cafe.
The
Cafe. Yeah. You gave me one.
That's a great $8-10 stick, depending where you're getting it from, right? But when you buy about a box, a little cheaper. Yeah. So I have some that are cheaper than that, or I like something, and I want it now that I have a good sized humidor. Now I can buy it in a box like bulk, and it costs me a lot less per stick.
Mhm.
So if a friend is like, let's say like Sion is coming home from the city from work and says, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I was thinking about stopping by. I got some free time. Yeah, come by.
yeah.
And and we'll have a cigar. And he might not be ready to do that because he's not home. He doesn't have his cutter, his lighter, and a pick of a stick.
Yeah.
So we come by, and I have no problem offering him up a cigar. But I'm like, no, don't touch my Fuentes. Don't
He's like,
don't touch my opuses. Don't touch my
You
opuses.
pull out a drawer. This is you can pick one from here.
This is where you could shop from. You're allowed to pick from this selection. You know, I have those type of sticks that I don't mind giving to guests, but obviously, if there's a special occasion,
And they're good sticks. They're not bad
they're
at all.
garbage. No, there's no garbage.
Which is really
But
good.
it's something where if there's a special occasion, I have no problem cracking a good stick with someone else.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
I mean, I feel like anyone would. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Cigar and Bullshit podcast. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Just hanging out with my friends, sharing experiences that help you take away something interesting and maybe some information that you didn't know. So make sure you tune into the next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast.